we'll kick right back over the conversation.
All right, cool.
All right, all right. So it's been about 5 seconds, so we're now live everywhere. Welcome everyone to episode 6 of the Level Up Your Wealth podcast, proudly sponsored by the gamers at Tomes Financial. You can visit the site at see the right there at the bottom bit.ly/level up your wealth or tomesfinancial.com to learn everything about like managing your wealth and everything that's happening on the gaming side. I'm one of your hosts, Marcus Howard, joined by Mario. Mario, please say hey to the folks online.
What's going on, y'all? Hope all is well. Mario Payne, a certified financial planner in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida. It's beautiful too, man. It's not raining. It's been raining for like the last few days. So very, very excited to talk about a person who monetized on YouTube. A lot of people do stuff on YouTube, but they don't monetize. So we can kind of go over the arts of making money and gaming at the same time.
Excellent, excellent. Welcome to the show, Carl, Commander Carl. If you do a quick intro to the everybody who's joining in. Thanks for the hat. And we're going to jump into that game in a little bit, but please let everybody know who you are, where you're from.
Sure. What's up, guys? Commander Carl. I live here in the middle of nowhere in Iowa. I'm just kind of a average gamer turns internet reload extraordinaire. I'm the guy who did all those random reloads of things around my house, like a vacuum and a toaster, and then did other stuff like the NPC series where I'm like a game character. I've done the Ragdoll series. Yeah. I work on games for a living. That's what I did before all this happened, before all this internet fame sort of fell into my life. And I think that pretty much covers everything. Did I miss anything?
You did. We're going to jump into a little bit of that later. But first, we want to do a quick match. You know, this is a gaming podcast, so we wanted to do a 1v1 on the classic rock, paper, scissors.
All right, let's do it.
Loaded up. The two of you are going to play a quick match here.
Yeah, I already accidentally selected my first move.
Yes. So the captain, let's see. All right, what we're going to do the first time? Draw. Okay. All right. Let's see second time.
All right, I'm going to throw a curveball here. All right, I win.
Okay. All right. I think it's best out of 10, I think, right? So
best out of 10, first to 10 points.
Oh, what's going on here? What's going on?
It's going to be great if I get all 10 points.
No, it's going to be horrible if you get all 10 points.
Shit.
Okay, I win. Okay.
It's all right.
Yeah. So after we go through everything, I'm going to kind of let you know from an investment standpoint why, a person would be aggressive if they, oh, man, come on, Mario.
All right.
And those of you joining us online, you can check out this game too at rps.gg. Shout out to Eugene for working with us to get this as part of this program. So definitely rps.gg. You can play a random match with anybody online.
Oh my goodness gracious! Oh my goodness gracious! Okay.
It's all about predicting your movements, man. I can read them on.
Mario's losing live.
I'm losing. Oh, okay, for the win again.
All right, gotcha.
Okay.
2 more on my end, man. You're done for.
I know.
Ouch.
We need to come back, man. We need to come back. Oh no, we need to come
back.
First
10 points. It's going to be close.
Okay. Oh no.
Oh, maybe not.
That is point.
All right.
Use the force, Mario.
Okay, here we go. 5 down, 5 to go. Oh, yes, 5 down, 5 to go. Match point, though. I lose. All right, so actually, believe it or not, playing this game is actually predictive of how a person is going to invest in the stock market. As I stop sharing my screen and we get back, right? So rocks. So when a person is rocked, that's aggressive. So if you're aggressive in nature, you'll probably be aggressive when it comes to investing, right? If we're paper, we're more conservative, we're more defensive. So that means when we invest our money, we're probably pretty defensive as well. And then the scissors is like in the middle. Like we're kind of aggressive, kind of not aggressive. We're in the middle. That's what you call moderate investor. So I'd imagine, Captain, if you invest in the stock market, you would probably be pretty aggressive.
That's right. I was told that when you're young, it's always good to go for aggressive growth. And then as you get older, you don't want to be as risky. So, I do have some minor investments and I've learned a little bit, but overall, I'm actually not super into the investing world, but I'm not completely out of it either. I keep an eye on the stock market every now and then. I get a little bit of excitement when I see those green numbers,
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you said that because I mean you are investing. I mean you are investing in yourself, right? And most people say investing in yourself, that's the biggest and best investment anyway. So let me know from a risk standpoint as we talk about rock paper scissors, right? Um, the risk involved in kind of starting putting yourself out there, doing your videos, doing your shorts that was amazing. Like how'd you go from Instagram now to YouTube? Like kind of tell us how that process went.
All right, so let's take it back to I'd say maybe March of 2021 or even 2020. Pandemic hit. I was 3D artist. I really wanted to work on video games, so I worked a lot with game engines, which can be used more than just for video games. Believe it or not, you can use them for insurance simulations, medical, military. I was doing a lot of that for quite a few years up until the pandemic hit, and I was finally able to get my first like major hit, which was the Callisto Protocol. That was being developed by the creators of the Dead Space series. So that was like super exciting. I worked on that for about a year and a half, and then I actually met up with another local big creator. He goes by Scumbag Dad. He's actually
typical gamer name, right? That's a typical gamer name, right?
Well, he's a bigger creator than I am. Yeah. He's almost 6 million. I'm only at 3.5. But
only 3.
I mean, it's big numbers still, but yeah, he's bigger. And I started pairing up with him. I watched the way that he just operated. He just made stuff like video after video, and it inspired me to start doing that on TikTok. That's where I really started, was TikTok. And I'm a hardcore gamer. I love video games. I love first-person shooters. I thought, well, how can I leverage this? What can I do? I start screwing around with some just general comedy videos. They didn't really go anywhere. And then I don't know why, but I got the idea to like reload stuff. It kind of just came to me. It's something I've done on my own here and there with random objects for a very, very long time because I'm obsessed with FPS games. What do you expect? So I got my iPhone, I got a tripod, and I placed it on my chest. I switched the camera to 0.5x, which is ultra widescreen, so I get that nice field of view. I put it there, and I grabbed my vacuum cleaner, and I reloaded it. And I went to bed that night, and I woke up to, God, what was it? 1 million views overnight.
Wow.
On TikTok. And that's what started everything.
Wow.
And then from there, I was like, okay, we're going to roll with this. And I started doing other objects. I would do requests like, hey, you should do a toaster. All right, I'll do a toaster. Do a leaf blower. I got my leaf blower and I did that. And then it wasn't until December. Oh, man. December, that was like the big, that's the day, that's the month where I felt like for a straight week, I owned the internet. I was everywhere. I was Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. People were uploading my videos left and right. I actually got this framed here. So, I'll see how well you guys can see this, but I framed these. These are my Kotaku, Polygon, Nintendo. I think this is Games Radar Plus. I've got other major gaming networks like Nintendo Life. They all did coverage on my Reload series, and that's when shit really started like blowing up. I was getting brand deals. I got verified. I got the blue check on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then YouTube, I was like, well, shit, I should try to put this stuff on YouTube because I can make money on that as a partner. And that's, I did that shortly after all this happened. And my stuff was blowing up on YouTube, not to the level of TikTok, mind you, but it was pretty quick. I uploaded my first Reload compilation and I had 40,000 new subs in like a couple of months. And I was able to be a YouTube partner.
Wait. Stop the process. Oh, no. You had 40,000 subs and you said a few months?
2 months, 40,000 subs.
Now, listen to the public, right? So here I am. I manage hundreds of $millions of assets. I got my own mutual fund on the stock market, and I got less than 1,000 subs. How is that possible?
Well,
You gotta start reloading.
I know, yeah.
there you go, man.
Yeah.
Oh shit, you guys are killing me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just kept rolling with it on YouTube. I did the what's it? Just more reloads. Eventually, 40,000 became 50, 60, 100,000. And then I started to experience. After I was monetized, I was starting to see how much money I was actually making, and it was bringing in about 1,000 a month. And I was like, shit,
Wow.
this is pretty good. If I keep this up, I could start paying my damn mortgage just on ad rev alone.
Yeah.
And then I started experimenting. I did other things. I did my ragdoll series where I kind of impersonated ragdolls from, very common titles like Skyrim or Grand Theft Auto. That did really well. And then my NPC series, the stuff where I sit on like a chair that glitched away, but my body still sits on something invisible, shit like that. That video did almost as well as my reloads. I mean, that series really stands well on its own. That's awesome. Now here I am. I'm at 3.4 million on TikTok. I make about 2,000 a month on TikTok. I'm at 340,000 nearly on YouTube. I make anywhere between 3 to 5K a month on there. Yeah, I mean, those are good months. I get a lot of slow months too, where my views aren't quite up, but I can still survive on that. The crazy thing is, I don't know if you guys heard of the game Postal, the Postal series.
Yeah.
I did some skits for Postal too, just for fun. And I got the attention of Running with Scissors, the guys who made that game. And they loved it so much, I connected with pretty much the whole studio. And I said, hey, I'm a 3D artist by trade. I've worked on video games for game engines for the better half of a decade now. And they were like, shit, that's awesome. Do you want a job? And now they hired me. I work at Running with Scissors. It's another, it's on a contract basis, but they're paying me a steady income. It's not a whole lot because they're an indie studio, but still, man, it's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Now I'm working on games again, and I get to make content. I'm at a pretty good place right now, I gotta say.
Yeah, and we want to salute your followers that popped in. So Mr. Roblox, Magoo, Liam, EA Duncan, is that EA Sports? I'm a Madden person, so if EA Sports is in the game.
Looks like I got quite a few of my subs here.
Yeah. YFM Studios via Edit, Forklift Certified, Arthur Jacques, 7 Cents Music. Is that a band? 7 Cents. That sounds like a 90s band, but 7 Cents Music, right? Not Green Day, 7 Cents Music. Emerald, a lot of people. So you guys, thank you for chiming in. So with that, walk us through the process. So you go viral. What kind of made you tick where you said, you know what, I'm going to go from TikTok to YouTube, because it appears as if YouTube gives you a little bit more cachet from a money standpoint.
It does.
Than TikTok.
YouTube, you get paid with RPMs. What is it? Something per. I don't even know I don't remember what it stands for. Revenue per something.
Yeah, revenue. Yeah.
YouTube,
revenue per minute, I think, but whatever. Though. Okay.
Back before a couple of months ago, I was on TikTok's Creator Fund, which is kind of a dedicated fixed pool for every creator on there who's big enough. The more people on that fund, though, the less money everyone else gets, though. So that was my incentive to head on over to YouTube, because I figured, well, if I can blow up on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram, I can probably do YouTube and actually start making some cash for this, because, I mean, I don't do this for the money, but the money definitely helps. So, it's a win-win. I get to do what I want and make cash. Like that was the switch for me. I was like, this is it. I got to do this, because I've never been the kind of guy who could just like go to a fucking, I don't know, a place and just get an application and get hired. I can't do that. It's just, I would almost rather be homeless than to ever be forced to work like just a regular job. And other people, I respect the absolute hell out of other people who do that. And if you can love that, you're a better person than I am.
Yeah.
But that's just not for me. I couldn't do it. So that was sort of my sorry, I'm brain farting like I'm tired. It's been a long day. That was my incentive, really, to go to YouTube.
It's funny. So Shanibi said he or she farted. That's funny you say brain fart. But no, like that's like a gamer's mentality. Like gamers think out the box. I mean, it takes a certain type of person to think from level to level. How you're gonna grow, how you're gonna be strategic and beating the game. You got to think out the box. So even like with my clients, I see a lot of my clients that are creators and entrepreneurs. They game like the regular kind of everyday job people. They don't game. Nothing wrong with everyday jobs, of course, but still, I can definitely see you having a gaming background and you thinking out the box. So
absolutely,
yeah.
Carl, are you using YouTube Shorts at all? Have you tried?
I have tried Shorts. They have enabled monetization for creators on there, but it doesn't pay much. There's a pretty big creator out there I'm friends with on Instagram. His name's Frankie LaPena. He's the guy who does those skits where he has a big ass. You have to watch it. I promise. It's funnier than it sounds.
Yeah. I like big butts and I can't lie, right?
That's his moniker, man. That guy, he is killing it. That dude is somebody who has just devoted and dedicated himself to what he does, to his craft, because he goes out there and he gets stuff done way more than I ever even do. But I'm not super about grinding and hustling. I just want enough to do what I want and also still be able to spend time with my family. But anyways, getting off track, he showed us, his audience, how much he made on a shorts video that had 200 million views or something like that. It maybe not have been that much, but it was triple digit millions. And he made a whopping, like, the number was comparatively small. I think it was like $1,200.
What?
Yeah. So you make that kind of money on non-YouTube. I mean, that's enough to buy a new house.
Yeah.
So I honestly, I stay away from shorts for the most part. I sometimes will upload to them, but they just don't go very far. This is what happens to my shorts. They go up, flatline every single time. I've never had a short that is super successful, with the exception of maybe like 1 or 2 times, and they don't pay much. It's it's standard YouTube format that pays a lot more, even for minute-long videos, which is sometimes what I do, or even less.
Yeah. And then some more shout out to William, to Esteban Lopez, to Joseph D, and to Jetstream Sam. What's going on? That is interesting. So from like a marketing standpoint, are you to the point now where you don't have to spend marketing dollars to do the target ads, or are you still doing that?
I'm not really putting any additional money into something like that. I just sort of really, I have a talent agent, and what I do is I just let them sniff out stuff for me, and they ask for way more money than I'd ever be comfortable or even have the power to do. And sometimes a client will buy it, and then I'll get a pretty good brand deal. But I don't spend money on advertising. Really. So.
Yeah. That's a great problem to have. Like, you want to grow organically. I mean, that's
right. I do. There's a couple of channels on YouTube that I really look up to. JonTron's one of them, which I actually managed to become friends with him on Discord, which is really awesome. But he never answers his messages.
Come on, John. Do better. Do better.
And then there's Actman, who I'm also friends with now. And I've looked up to them since long before all this happened. I've watched their stuff since like 2012. And I always said to myself, if I ever get big on YouTube, these are the 2 main people whose content I really want to sort of dive into. Like gaming content that's just funny, maybe some skits every now and then. And I'll do skits occasionally, and they're, sometimes I'll do good, other times they're like, meh. But yeah, those guys have always been a big inspiration for me when it came to YouTube, and I still draw quite a bit of inspiration from both of them.
you think you're at a point now, if you wanted to, you could be a full-time content creator? I know you love making videos.
Well, I was full-time content creation up until a week ago before Running with Scissors hired me. So I had no choice.
It was all good a week ago.
I really what happened was when all this blew up, the company, the game studio I was working for, they really kind of started to take note that I wasn't quite putting in the hours as I normally am, because I was making content as well. When something like this happens, like, you just got to go for it. And my foot was finally in the door with this, and I wasn't gonna let it go. And eventually I was like, I'll just lay low still. I'll try to keep up with work and also content creation. But it was a really hard balance to strike. And ultimately that ended up biting me in the ass, because they did eventually just lay me off. That was the moment. I was like, well, shit, I guess I'm doing this content thing full time. Because and I actually, a lot of people don't know this, but I used to do YouTube about 10 years ago, and I actually got some traction with it. I was making Gary's Mod movies. One of them is actually still up on YouTube. It's at 13 million views, and I got 20,000 subs on that channel. But I burnt out. I was making too much, and I was starting to see like lower numbers, and that was really demoralizing. And I burned out on that channel, and I gave up. I'm like, oh, I guess maybe YouTube isn't for me. And it's funny now because it just totally came full circle and fell right back into my lap. I've got my silver plaque up there. I just look at it every now and then, and I'm really excited for the gold one to come in once I reach 1 million.
Man, well, that's just a tall tale, like a persistency, man. Again, we talk about gaming. You got to be persistent when you invest in the stock market. You have wins and you have losses. Anybody who invested last year, you have losses, but you being persistent, and it gets you where today. So talk about persistency. How many videos do you do a day? Like, so how long does it take to make a video, and how many videos are you posting throughout the week?
Back, maybe before a few months ago, I would say a video would take as little as 2 minutes to film and edit, or as long as 30 minutes, depending on what I'm doing. As the NPC series and Ragdoll series started coming along, that's when production started taking longer and longer. And then I discovered Adobe After Effects, and I started learning that. And I've fallen in love with After Effects, so I use that quite a bit for, adding some VFX and special effects to my content, which has also driven up my production time. So now I could spend on like a 1-minute-long, 2-minute-long video if I'm doing like a Cursed Healing series or a Ragdoll series or something. I could expect about 1 to 2 hours on just one video alone.
Wow. And so from an editing standpoint, you using Adobe to edit, or you using like Wisecut AI, or what edit software do you use?
Actually, for a vast majority of my content, I actually still just use this. I'll show you. It's InShot. This program here.
InShot, okay.
It's just a basic phone editor, but it has had everything I've needed. One of my, all my reload stuff, I just filmed on my iPhone and edited with InShot. I have a video on TikTok sitting at 71 million views that I made with just InShot.
Wow.
And I still employ it actually quite a bit. I do the basic editing and cuts on there. Then I take the video out of there, bring it into After Effects, and I'll enhance it with lighting and special effects there. Maybe I'll fire up Blender. Oh, I need a 3D model to composite into the video. I'll do that in Blender and render it, place it on the video. Yeah.
Wow. When you say that, we had a question that came in that said, what do you have no wealth to start with, right? How do you do this? And what you just described is you use the same device, your cell phone, right?
I still use it.
Film the content, create the content, edit the content, and upload it to the channel off that one device that you already own.
I still do it. I still use only my iPhone for filming. I have recently started to try increasing the voice quality of my videos. Because if you're filming on a phone and you're far away from the camera, you really hear that echo, that ugly reverb. So what I do is sometimes I will re-record my voice over that, because that's really easy to do, and then I put it in the video. And most of the time you can't even tell it was happening. But I probably need to get one of those mics that just hooks to my shirt eventually.
Yeah, one of those will help.
That's what I need to get. So
yeah. Yeah. Not and so for anybody who has, I think I have a 14, iPhone 14, but I think an
Yeah.
iPhone 12 and above, you can do it's called continually mode where if you have a Mac and so like I use Ecamm Live for like my pods, and like for Zooms for clients too. Well, basically your phone will sync up to Ecamm Live or Zoom, so basically you're able to talk but through your phone, and we all know like the phone has a way better camera than like the
Oh,
actual iPhone desktop. So I mean, iMac or Mac
yeah, yeah.
desktop. So yeah. So technology though, man, technology.
Oh, it's crazy. You know, I having to learn After Effects has been crazy because that's an entirely different field. I'm an environment artist. I create props like oil drums, cars, weapons, mountains in the background, anything
Yeah.
you need in an environment. If it's not a creature or a character, I make those things. And now
Mm.
I'm in After Effects doing rotoscoping, where it's like Photoshop basically for videos. And with your rotoscoping, you're highlighting an object frame by frame and
Mm.
cutting it out so that you can put stuff in front or behind it. And I do a lot of rotoscoping, and it is a pain in the ass and takes a
Wow.
long time because I'm really stubborn and I don't use green screens like everyone else does. Admittedly, I do need to invest better in my setup, but that's kind of the thing that I feel like I reward myself with when I can get enough of a like a monetary sort of, I guess, like if my ad rev's really high one month, I'll invest in some nice gear.
Yeah.
So
So with Adobe, I know they came out a few weeks ago and talked about like how they're changing their whole platform to be more AI driven.
yeah,
Uh, have you seen those changes and is it working so far when you edit?
I've used them. I've used Adobe Photoshop Beta AI to help me generate like background screens a couple times, which has been really useful. And I'm really excited to see kind of what Adobe After Effects does in terms of AI, because whatever it is going to probably take my production time down from 2 hours to 2 minutes. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's crazy.
Oh. So what are you gonna do with that extra time then? More videos or work on the
Yeah,
business more?
maybe more
Video
video
games.
games. Go upstairs and go outside. I love to be outdoors. There's always that thing people tell you like man, go outside, go touch grass. I touch grass a lot. I'm almost always outside every time every
What type
I
of grass
don't
you talking about?
I don't look
Yeah,
like
this way, this way,
I
this
don't
way.
look like it, but I do go out very often. And I wish I could do that in this state, but in Iowa, we are for some reason still 30 years behind everything. It is
Yeah,
not legal here, which is absolutely stupid.
yeah. Well,
Um,
we're in Florida, so we're a little bit more freer state than others. So
oh yeah, I imagine.
yeah, yeah. That's funny.
But the
That's
weather's real nice
We
down
got
there too.
some folks tuning in from LinkedIn. Appreciate you joining us, Jordan and Vita. I want to make sure that if anyone had any questions that they asked it, please send them in the chat. We're seeing some of the chat responses here, either for Carl or for Mario. So about content creation, he already explained types of equipment that he's using, his process. But you had any other questions about that? And again, for Mario, if you have any financial literacy or wealth management questions, want to make sure you all get your questions answered live on the show.
Yeah. So from the business side, like using AI, how many more content creators you think is going to be made by using AI if they just have a thought process that can be done, and how you think that's going to help your business and kind of help business as a whole from a content creator standpoint?
Well, I think that what AI is going to do for a lot of people is that it's going to assist them in writing scripts for their videos. It's going to assist them in production, like being able to edit out a person in a video that wasn't supposed to be there in the snap of a finger, stuff like that. It's going to help people quite a bit with their production quality, which
Mm.
should in turn, pay off monetarily, when production quality is higher.
Okay.
Um, and there's a lot of people who are against AI, which I get it. It is kind of scary. You kind of think, oh, where's the line going to be drawn?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think it's important to just be scared of that or be weary of it at least, but also embrace the technology and just use it to your advantage while you can.
Yeah, very true. So we got a question for Michael. So what are ways to aggregate posts across all platforms? Are ways to make it easier to post?
He's a game developer working on a game too, so I definitely understand where he's coming from. I think trying to have a central hub, if I'm describing this properly, and being able to kind of produce or publish to multiple platforms.
Yes, I don't actually use anything to like post across multiple platforms, but I know that there are services out there where you can like upload your video and it'll automatically post it to every channel you have that's maybe listed on that service. For me, really, as soon as I'm done with the video, I just post to each social network for one after another. It only takes me a few minutes, and it doesn't cost me any extra cash. So the important thing that I've learned with content creation is if I don't have to spend money on it, I really shouldn't, because the more money I spend on this stuff, just the less cash you have in general. And I try to push the technology I have as far as I can go before I absolutely need to upgrade.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm on the other side of the spectrum. Actually, I have a system that does all my social media. So like I make content and then I send it to them. They edit it and then they send it out. So
and that's great, honestly. Like if I had like. It sounds like your investments do well. You've got the income for it, and if I did, I'd do the same thing, man.
I don't got the subs or the followers though, so I mean, who knows, right? Who knows?
That's just to be honest. I think a lot of it. I think I just got lucky that I stumbled upon something that was unique enough and maybe different enough that people are like, "Oh, this is cool. I'm going to sub to him." And it's because it's really hard. It is extremely difficult to stand out. I've tried to start other channels and just from scratch, and it doesn't go anywhere. So it's really, really difficult because you're competing against hundreds of thousands of other people wanting to do the same thing you're doing, and finding out how you can make yourself stand out from that. I sweat just thinking about it. But consistency and persistency, those two things will get you a lot further than just giving up. And so that would always be, anyone can do this. I firmly believe that anyone out there can do this, but it's just going to take time and it's going to take a lot of experimentation.
Yeah. And to that point, so Michael has another question. So how do you find what kind of content to make? And then how often do you switch your content?
So when you make content, the one thing to be aware of is whatever you blow up for, that's what people are going to come for. All right. So if you blow up for random reload videos like I did, and then you start to do other things, your engagement is going to be significantly lower. And this is true for every content creator. This is something that nobody ever told me or that I knew myself. I thought if you blew up for something and you have all these subs and followers, you can post whatever you want no matter what, and everyone who's subbed to you will watch it. That is not true at all. Not even in the slightest. And so my best advice is that if you want to do social media, make sure you center it around you as a person and yourself.
Okay.
Because Hank Green, for example, he's very recognizable. He's Hank Green. He's the guy who talks about scientific facts. That's what got him up there. And now he can post just any random thing and his engagement's great. But if I show my ugly mug in a video rather than my arms holding a fucking random object or something, it's usually like, okay, where's the reload stuff? People want to see the monkey dance. And so it's something that everyone needs to be aware of when you're making content, is that once you find your niche, you're going to be pretty much stuck there, unless you can find a way to reinvent in a way where people can be captivated. For me, the entire gaming sphere is a pretty good bet. Not only my reload stuff does well, but my third person stuff does pretty well too. And so I've just stuck within gaming, and generally that does well.
So to that point, from like a seconds a minute standpoint, like what do you think your like the sweet spot is? Is it like a 45-second video? Is it a minute video? Like what's the sweet spot?
The sweet spot for me is probably about 1 to 2 minutes. 30-second videos. I think YouTube changed something recently on the monetization. Generally, a 30-second video would actually make okay money for me, but it doesn't anymore. Now there's a certain threshold. I think it's by about 45 seconds. Video has to now be about 45 seconds for the RPM on that video to go up significantly. And of course, the longer the videos you can make, the more ads you can place in the videos. The ad revenue is where it's at. You get paid more when somebody who's subscribed to YouTube Premium watches your video, but how many people are subscribed to YouTube Premium? Like, not very many.
I'm not.
If I had to guess, I'd say probably somewhere between 5 to 20% of all of YouTube is subscribed to YouTube Premium. Otherwise, everyone else is just dealing with the ads and watching.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
So you have to bank on the ad rev. That's really that's how it's set up. That's how it's always been, and that's how it's probably going to be for a while.
Yeah. So DJ USA said YouTube is all about the watch time. So
it is. Ultimately, it's about watch time. It's not much different from TikTok in that you need to capture your audience's attention and keep it. You bore them in that first 10 seconds, you're done. They're going to click away on your video and it's going to perform awful. So capture their attention, keep their attention. The algorithm notices that, pushes your video out to more people. It's all about the views. The more views you can get, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have 10K subs. If you can get a video with 400K views and you're already a partner, that's going to be an easy like $100 in your pocket the next day.
Wow. And we have another question. So Michael, we'd love to see how you think about our indie pre-beta game. Yeah, Michael, I'll say add us. Like I'm Instagram, Painful Profits. You can definitely hit me on LinkedIn. Marcus Esports Howard, and then but the man of the hour, you can definitely message him too. And I'm pretty sure between the three of us, we can definitely give you some feedback.
Absolutely, and I got to follow you two before I head out because I need to. Yeah, you guys got to give me your socials at some point. Maybe Marcus, I'll have you link them to me because I want to follow. I want to follow both of y'all.
Yeah. So what's next? So again, as a financial advisor, we always talk about short term and long term, right? So what do you see yourself in the business a year from now, and where you see it 5 years from now?
Really, I want to get to a point, and I don't know if this is going to take 1 or 5 years. Hopefully, the sooner the better. I want to get to a point where I can just upload pretty much anything I want and expect to be able to just have a full-time income on it, which I'm very, very close to that. I'm very close, but I'm still pretty far from it. A longer-term goal, reach 1 million subs. I really want to reach 1 million subs. I'm a third of the way there now. So I'm just going to keep grinding, keep putting out content and experimenting. And then, like I said, that long-term goal is to have that bigger audience that is more engaged with me as a person rather than just like my arms holding up fucking vacuum cleaner or something, because I like doing the reloads, but like, I don't want to just be the reload guy. And I've made this very clear to my audience. I often think about the voice and capture actor for Trevor in GTA 5. There's actually a video of him going completely apeshit on one of his cameo fans because they wanted him to do a Trevor cameo, but he doesn't want to be known just being Trevor. He's Stephen Ogg. He's done more than just GTA 5, but everyone knows him from GTA 5. And that's a really frustrating spot to be put in, and that's the spot that I'm still kind of in right now. So a long-term goal definitely is to broaden my audience a bit and bring in just more folks in general in the gaming sphere, so that I can reliably upload a video and get good metrics on it every time, which means steady income.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's easier for you to do if you lean in on like the YouTube ecosystem versus splitting up across multiple channels? I know you had a tremendous success in TikTok in terms of viewership.
No,
You know, I don't
you're
know
very right.
where the
You're right
dollars-
about that, and that's something. Yes, that there are videos on my YouTube channel that you won't find on TikTok, and I'm going to keep it that way because that's incentive for some people on my TikTok to go to my YouTube. It's probably not a whole lot, and one thing you're going to find is that it's very hard to move people from one platform to another. It is incredibly difficult because other platforms don't let you do that. You can't promote yourself on TikTok. The algorithm sniffs that out and they squash you. If I say, hey guys, go follow me on YouTube, I have 3.54 million TikTok followers. If I say go follow me on YouTube, that video is going to have maybe 1,000 views at the most the next day. If that. They squash it. They don't want you to do that. So you absolutely have to lean in on the ecosystem of each content, each social media platform, and you got to treat them separately, really, because in the end they kind of are. I have an entire Twitter audience. I've got 185K on Twitter, 122K on Instagram, and a vast majority of followers on each platform do not follow me on any other platform.
Wow. That's interesting. So a couple of things I would say we need to talk offline. I mean, finance is so big. I think if you shoot the stock, so think about when Elon Musk said talked about Dogecoin that went down, you could shoot all the Dogecoins down. Oh man, oh my goodness gracious! I get commentary, but I would actually say just from like your goal standpoint, you know what I'm saying, like YouTube is now, but I think YouTube's the feature. Like they have NFL Sunday Ticket.
Absolutely.
They're talking to college football. They might actually start streaming the college football playoffs. So you're gonna have just people that have the money, right, to do the YouTube premium. So I think leaning in YouTube, continue to post in YouTube. I think that might be the biggest bang for your buck. Just from
that is absolutely right. Absolutely, because all of these social media platforms, Threads, TikTok, things like that, they come, they might stay, but in general, they come and go.
Yeah.
But YouTube is always, and this is my opinion, I might be wrong with it, but YouTube is always going to be there. They're probably never going to change the formula they have because it's worked. It has worked very well for them. It's worked for the creators. So it's a safe bet, but it's also very difficult. Getting organic growth on YouTube is very, very hard. You have to promote the absolute ever-loving crap out of yourself. And, if you start doing that a bunch, people get annoyed with it. And it's just like, you got to find a balance.
Yeah.
Have you tried Twitch at all? Because you have gaming content. It seems like
I have tried live streaming. And I actually got pretty successful with it on TikTok. They have their own streaming service. And I got 1,000 on Twitch, but I hardly ever get on because I don't have the regular schedule for it. I can't devote a regular schedule. And if you want to be, this is what I've heard from other streamers. If you want to be a successful streamer, you've got to have a schedule and you have to stick vehemently to that schedule. And I can't have that kind of commitment right now. Not now, not in the next year or two, maybe in a few years. I think I can probably start doing more Twitch, but, what I like about YouTube is just the freedom that I can take a break one day, go spend time with my family, go just do non-computer things. And then the next day I can come down here and film something and edit it, upload it. Oh, cool. It got 50,000 views in the first day. Awesome. It's at 100,000 the next day. Sweet. It's another $100, $200 in my pocket.
Yeah. And so that's a great segue because I know we want to get out of here. We want to be respectful of your time.
Yeah.
But when it comes to YouTube, though, YouTube is actually the second largest search engine in America. The first is Google, and Google actually owns YouTube. So, of course, we talk about these stocks, right? So I'm going to share my screen real quick, and we're going to show you what Google did, right? So literally, and we're just going to go from 2015. We make this bigger. Now for all y'all, what are we doing here? What are we doing? See, that's what you came live right there. All right, so what are we doing, Mario? Y'all see me?
Yeah, I see you.
We see you. Yeah, we can see. I shared your screen, so we can see the stock.
Okay, cool. All right. So, anyways, though, as y'all can see, look at that, man. It went down, but up 446%. So basically, think about since 2014, that is literally 40% a year. The stock market averages about 10% a year. So the first time that you was on YouTube, as you were building up those subs, right? If you bought some YouTube stock or Google stock, you've been pretty happy right now. So to your point, I believe YouTube and Google is the future. And I think that's probably a company that you definitely want to invest in because that'll do way better than the stock market, I believe, over the next 5 to 10 years as well.
Absolutely. So, yeah.
Drop the mic on that one. So,
not actually going to drop it, but
yeah.
Right. It's the only mic I have.
It was an absolute pleasure being here, guys. This was great. I had a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah. So I know you got to go. We want to be respectful of your time, but please let everybody know your socials, where we can find you at.
Absolutely. Commander Carl, that's my name everywhere. You can search that on Google. I will come up.
Okay.
For TikTok, I'll come up. For Twitter, Instagram. Commander Carl, 2 Ks, all right? Commander starts with a K and Carl starts with a K. But if you fuck that up, I'll still come up anyway on the search engine. This is fucking cool. I got to show you this before I go. Type me in Commander Carl into Google. I flipped out when I saw this. I'll let my camera adjust to it. There we go. I've got my own tab
you got
here.
your image.
I got my info tab. Internet personality. That's all throughout the whole journey. That has been super exciting. That and getting verified were that was the 2 most exciting things to see. Making you get excited. You make a name for yourself. Which little 10-year-old me who had 0 friends and was bullied all the time is absolutely smiling on these moments. So
yeah, that's awesome. And then this is the American story right here about persistency, man. You tried something 10 years ago, stopped, you started again, and look now. I mean, you have millions of people that saw you, people recognize you, you put in your name, you're on Google, which is the biggest search engine in the world. That's really impressive, man.
Thank you, man. Sometimes I still don't believe it.
Yeah. But not like I said, we had to have a side conversation about doing some financial financial shorts, man. I think that might give you a different audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be dope. Carl, before we leave, we like to award and reward our community for joining us in the conversation, asking questions. And so Mario and I both provide digital copies of our books to one person who is just ask great questions. If you don't mind doing the honor, if you would select one of the people who've been asking questions, we'd like to again thank everybody for joining us. But whoever asked the most questions or the most compelling questions, we'd like to reward them a copy of the books. Okay.
The problem I'm having is that I think at some point my chat stream actually froze at 8:03, 43 seconds, and it's not been showing me some of the questions that have come up. There was a really great question though about the equipment I use. I liked answering that question. So whoever asked that question, I would say, I mean, I would prioritize whoever asked the most questions personally.
Okay.
So who asked the most questions? I would maybe.
I think Michael. Michael. Yaga.
All right. Michael, it's yours, my guy.
That's dope. So thank you for your time, Carl. Thank you everybody for joining us. We appreciate you investing your time in supporting the show, supporting Mario, me, and Carl. Great evening. You can find us again here next week. Mario, let them know where they can find you online as well.
Yeah. Painful Profits. I'll pop up too. You know what I'm saying? Not as many subs, but yeah, Painful Profits, PAYNEFUL Profits. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. On the Facebooks, and then of course my website, Toms Financial, TOAMS Financial, the business side where I invest clients' money. 1,300 clients and growing, so definitely blessed.
Whew.
Excellent.
I think I might have to join that list, my guy. All right, it was a pleasure being here, fellas.
All right, thanks for your time. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight.
Commander out.